Hello, am I audible, visible?
Yes, hello.
Oh, good morning. Let's
Morning.
let's open our session for today. Keep your back and neck straight, sit comfortably, and when you feel ready, very gently close your eyes. Just start watching your breath. Observe the natural flow of your breathing as you inhale and as you exhale. Slowly show your attention to your body. Check your posture, check your alignment, and make the adjustments if necessary. Gently come back to the breathing and begin to deepen your breath. Slow, long, and deep inhalations. Slow, long, and deep exhalations. We will open today's session by chanting Om 3 times, followed by 3 Shantis. Take a deep inhalation for Om. Shanti, Shanti. Vibrations. Join your hands together and begin to rub your palms. Keep your palms on your eyes. Very slowly, while blinking and looking at the palms, begin to open up the eyes and we will begin our session for today. So today in yoga philosophy class, we're going to talk about something which is quite practical and which you can immediately start working on, and you can apply this in your life. These are the lifestyle, right? Lifestyle changes. So as I said, yoga overall is a lifestyle, but there are a few points that you can still focus on when you begin the practice of yoga. So today we are going to talk about the lifestyle of a yoga practitioner. So this becomes our topic of discussion for today. Since all of you have now become yoga practitioners, then you must also know what kind of changes you can make, or what is the theory and the concept of lifestyle changes as per you. Right? So each and every philosophy, each and every school of thought have their own you can say way of living or changes in the living. But when it comes to yoga, we also need to understand these because now we have become the practitioners. So first thing and the most important one is the food itself. It's called ahar, A-H-A, food or ahar. Right? So lifestyle is basically the way in which you lead your life, the habits, the patterns that you have formed. And you will see this thing, either the patterns that you have formed, they will support your overall life, right? They will support you in leading a healthy life. They will support you to fulfill your tasks properly, to engage in a healthy way with everyone around you and with your own self. Or you can choose a lifestyle which will cause harm to you, which will not allow you to be efficient, which will not allow you to lead your life in a proper manner. You will always feel low on energy, you won't feel like doing anything. It's because the everyday patterns or habits you have developed, those are actually causing this issue or low energy within. So if you begin to incorporate little changes, you will see that the overall quality of your life has gone up. You are now much more productive. You have good amount of stamina to fulfill all your responsibilities, and you are at the same time leading a very uh, healthy, peaceful life. Right. So, ahar or food forms the first point of discussion, and this is very important. Like I said, food influences a lot of things, right? Whatever you are giving to your body, whatever input you are giving, that kind of output you will receive from the body as well, right? Because this same food, it is being processed in your body, and then the energy that is taken out of this processing, that is going to each and every part of your body, right? So you have to be very mindful about what you eat. In the modern terms, the concept of a balanced diet is considered to be the most ideal one, right? Where all of your nutritive values are being fulfilled. You are having carbohydrates, proteins, minerals, vitamins, everything forms a part of your diet, right? So you have to see what kind of changes you can make so that all of this nutrition is basically added to your body, right? So it's not necessary that you always eat that thing. Like I will take the example of vitamin D. So vitamin D is the richness of vitamin D is present in the sunlight. So as per this concept, you should also step out, right? Take a sun bath, right? Be in the sun for some time so that your body can acquire the required amount of vitamin, right? So but when you come to the yogic concept, so for a common person, you can make them understand that food has to be changed in this way when they start practicing yoga. But since you are already yoga practitioners, you are old practitioners, there is much more detailing that you can get to know about, and you can incorporate it personally for yourself, right? So the concept of mit ahar, MITAHAR, mit ahar. This is the point of view that yoga takes when it comes to food, right? In Hatha Yogic texts, you will find the mention of the concept of mitahar, and this term mit actually means sweet. Mit means sweet. So this sweet doesn't exactly mean that or you have to stop eating the food which has salt, food which has some form of spices. This concept of sweet is actually referring to the amount of times you chew the food, right? So right now, what we generally do is when we sit to eat, we have very like we have a timeline set on our mind, and we have to generally eat within that time, which subconsciously makes us rush our chewing process, right? If I only have half an hour, I have to eat 3, 4 things that are on my plate, then of course I will have to chew faster so that I can finish my food timely and then go back, right? So when you eat your food, the number of times you chew, that plays a very important role in the overall digestion of that food, right? So the digestive process starts from the mouth itself. The mouth produces saliva, right? So if right now you think of your favorite food, right, and that image comes up, immediately you will see that your mouth waters. Yeah. So what is this watering of mouth? It is actually the saliva that is being produced in the mouth, right? And this saliva mixes with the food and helps to break down the. So now when you begin to eat and don't give chewing a lot of time, so this breakdown of food, which is supposed to and it's meant to take place in your mouth, it is now not taking place in your mouth. Yeah. So you just gulp down your food, and then all of the digestion that is supposed to take place over here, and it's not supposed to cause any pressure or load in your on your stomach, that thing begins to happen because the chewing, the first stage is not done properly. When you chew the food properly, ideally you should chew one bite 32 times. Yeah, you only chew 3, 4, 5 maximum. If you are very patient with your food, you will chew 10 times. But uh, you should give, you should actually chew your food a minimum of 32 times, right? So when you chew the food 32 times in your mouth, you will begin to feel as if it has become sweet, right? Hence the name mitahar comes, right? Where the chewing is so much that the food turns sweet in its taste within the mouth itself, right? When the food, when the saliva is mixed in the food in your mouth, when you are chewing in this way, the food also becomes alkaline in nature, right? So these days, people are running behind alkaline food products, right? So your body, your system naturally can turn food into the alkaline property if you chew properly, right? So next time when you sit to have your food, take out the time to eat your food, because everything we do in life, we are only doing in order to ensure that there is warm food on our table, right? And it is very ironic to see that the least amount of time we give in our life is to food, right? Be it making the food or eating the food. Both the things, we are not giving it ample amount, right? So first thing is this. the concept of mitahar says that the chewing should be proper, right? Now it also elaborates on the quantity that you should have when you are eating the food. So for Hatha yoga practitioners specifically, the quantity is divided in the following manner. Right? So it's divided in four parts. One fourth, sorry, half of your stomach should be full with food. One fourth should be filled with water. And one fourth is left for air, which means the stomach is left empty, right? When I am talking of air, means that one fourth of my stomach should be empty at all times during the day, right? So now think about the food that you really like, right? So when you actually order that food or make that thing, what do? You eat it till here, right? You want to feel so satisfied with that food that you overeat at that point, right? And after you overeat, you feel a drop in your energy. You don't see that the energy is going up. Then you just want to sleep, you just want to chill, you want to relax, right? So this is happening because the stomach, it is overloaded at that point, right? When it's overloaded, of course, it's more than the capacity it can handle. So when you talk of mitahar, if you are currently eating 4 portions in whatever you consume, reduce it to 2. All right. When you start yoga, you have to eat half of the food. If 4 portions are filling your stomach fully, then you reduce that food to half the quantity. Right. Now, next thing, 1 foot of the space is left for water. Right. So, of course, a few like from half an hour to 1 hour before your meal and same gap after your meal, you should not consume food, right? But that space, sorry, you should not consume water, but that space is left for water, right? So half an hour to 1 hour before every meal and half an hour to 1 hour after every meal, you should not consume water, ideally, because the water has the quality of reducing the digestive process, right? It has the exact opposite quality. It will reduce the rate at which the digestion is taking place. So half an hour to 1 hour before will ensure that the you know HCl is produced properly. You start feeling hungry, right? And then after your meal, half an hour to 1 hour, because the digestion is taking place, then again it will hamper with that process. So at least take this amount of gap, right? I'm talking about the minimum gap that you should take before and after a meal, right? Now, 1/4 of the stomach has to be empty at all times. This will lead to proper digestion, right? First impact it will have is that the digestion is taking place properly, right? And when you are doing yoga sadhana, then again you have, later on yogis, they consume very less food as well because they have increased their practice so much that the same amount of food they are getting more out of, right? Or they are reserving their energy. So right now you have to do so many things in your day. So you also have to support your body with the proper meals. But when you go deeply into yoga sadhana, you will see a lot of yogis, they consume very less food, right? Because again, when you consume food, all of your energy, it rushes towards the digestive processes. When this thing happens, it becomes very difficult for you to even sit in meditation. So pranayama and asana is totally out of question. You have to give a gap of 3 to 4 hours before those practices. But even if you want to go ahead and sit for meditation, it will become very difficult for you because again you will feel that urge to sleep immediately, right? So try to as you go deeper into your practice, you will see yourself, the meals, they begin to reduce. Your body isn't feeling that hungry anymore, or you are not attracted towards food anymore. Food is a very, very big attraction, right? Today, in today's world, most of the people are struggling um, because they are not able to find the correct kind of food, or suppose if you are habitual of consuming some sort of food and then you shift to some other place, there you don't find that food, so it is actually leading to a lot of stress and tension, subconscious stress and tension. So food forms a very, very substantial part of our life, and our entire lives are circled around the consumption of food only. When you wake up, you think what you want to have for breakfast, right? Then you cook that thing, then you consume that thing, then while you are out somewhere or working, right? Again, you think about what you're going to have for lunch, then you cook that thing, then you consume that thing. So, like this, the entire day goes thinking about food, what you're going to eat, how you're going to make it. So, we are very, very closely attached to food, right? The attachment goes really, really later in life, right? Or really, really later, even in your yog sadhana, right? So, if for now, like you are still, very attached to food, then you can at least begin to restrain a little bit or shift your focus from one kind of diet to another kind of diet, right? And it's all about building habits and practice. So the longer you practice, the more you will be able to get out of those patterns. So there, it's nothing to worry about. It will require a lot of work, but eventually you will stop eating food out of taste and eat food because it gives energy to your body. And when you consume this kind of food, you will see that it is much more agreeable with your body, right? So now the body is not struggling so much to digest the food, or it's not looking out just merely for the taste, because the taste will only remain till the tongue, right? After that, when that food goes in, your body literally, feels uh, the consequences. So because we are so disconnected with our own selves, we are unable to feel what happens when we consume something which is not in alignment with the body, right? Hence, a lot of questions come up, right? Why does yoga say you have to leave this food item, or you have to leave that food item? Because the yogis, when they deepened their sense of awareness, they felt what was happening, in their body when they consumed particular food items. So when they were able to stay connected to this thing, then they, categorized what kind of food should be consumed, what kind of food should not be consumed, right? So right now we are just intellectually arguing about these things. Why is this forbidden? Why is that forbidden? Right? So when you feel ready, okay, so for this also you need to prepare yourself. When you feel ready, then just directly dive into what is being said. Don't question it. Your own meditation and your own practice will show you what is good for your body and what is not. If you still feel that eating something which is forbidden is actually doing good to your body, go ahead, right? Maybe on some later stage you will realize that thing, why a particular thing is being said, right? So there is no point, because so many students come and they want to argue, why is this kind of food not allowed, that kind of food not allowed. So in the beginning, don't go into the reasonings, because we are not even ready to understand the reason, right? The day we begin to feel what is happening in our body, we will automatically understand. Nobody will have to explain it to us, right? That is this thing good for us or bad. When you actually see the impact, when you get this concentration, your connection with yourself gets that deep, you understand yourself, what is happening and what is not, right? So, any doubts so far? Then I will continue. Any questions, any queries? All right, great. Awesome. So, yes. I will cover sattvic food. Do you want to uh, wait until then I touch that topic, or do you want to ask immediately? I will be covering sattvic food properly. Okay, great. Awesome. So I want to tell you certain tricks that you can apply in your day-to-day life when you consume the food. Right? So first thing is how you sit when you are consuming the food. Right? So it is very important that you sit on the ground. Okay, so you can, if you were planning to buy some furniture for eating, you can go ahead and cancel that order, because the best way to consume the food is by sitting on the ground, right? And being in a cross-legged position, right? So I will just show you. You can sit in a cross-legged position like this when you are consuming the food. And even though right now I am also sitting up, but you have to sit on the ground. When you sit on the ground, of course, keep something below you, right? So that you are because on the ground there is again a lot of what can I say, germs, right? So of course, keep something, keep a dari or a on a mat when you are sitting on the ground. Keep that kind of barrier between yourself and the ground. But sit down. Sit in a cross-legged position. When you sit in this way, the blood flow to the lower part of the body gets restricted. And when this happens, the digestion process is able to take place much more efficient. Right? Now, sometimes we sit down and we get a table at the height at which we want to keep our plate. Right? So that is okay. That is not wrong, but it is better to keep the plate down, right? So where I am sitting on the ground, that is where in front of me I keep the plate. Right? When I do this thing, especially in Indian tradition, you will see we sit down, we keep the plate like this. We didn't have separate tables to keep the plates. So when the plate is down, we'll by default have to bend a little bit forward to consume the food. Right? When this thing happens, immediately there is some pressure that is placed on your stomach, right? So by default, you will eat less than your capacity. Okay? Another very good way of sitting when you consume the food is by keeping the left leg up. So if I sit like this, then what is happening? My stomach is on this side only, right? So when I keep the left leg up like this and I eat my food like this, then what happens? Again, the stomach is getting pressed. There is some pressure on the stomach, which will, make sure that you don't eat till here, basically. And at all times, your stomach will remain slightly empty of this, right? Another very important, always try to eat your food with your hands. So again, if you were thinking of ordering some fancy cutlery, right, then again you can cancel that order. Why? Because the best way to consume your food is through your hands, right? The five fingers, they represent the five elements with which the body is formed, right? So fire, space, air, ether, uh, earth, and water. The five fingers represent one element each. And when you eat the food with your hand, you somewhere, get more in touch with uh, the food that you are consuming, right? So for us, a very good way of perceiving is when we uh, touch something, right? So when you are going to buy a cloth, right, you just want to touch the cloth and see the quality, right? So touch acts as a very good indicator, right, of the quality of the thing, of the temperature of the food, right? So generally you will see people who consume hot or cold beverages through the straw. They end up feeling a kind of jolt in their mouth, right? Where if too hot food is consumed, immediately the mouth burns, right? And if it is too cold, again there is a freezing kind of sensation in the mouth because you are not in touch with your food. So when you consume the food with your hand, you get to know about the temperature and the kind of temperature your hand can bear. That type of temperature your mouth can also bear, right? So there are a lot of scientific reasons for eating the food with the hand and how the overall taste also enhances when you eat the food with your hands, right? So now next time when you sit for a meal, try to sit down, keep the plate in front of you and consume that food with your as much as possible. I'm not saying that right now you should go jump to the other extreme and simply start eating. As much as is possible, you should try to consume the food with your hands, right? So I will also tell you about some other tricks and tactics which will help you to stay more connected to your food when you're consuming it. So, in a lot of traditions, people say grace or people chant some mantras. They say some kind of prayer before they begin to teach, right? This is also very scientific practice if you look at it closely, right? First thing, when you chant a mantra or say grace, the food is already in front of you, and you are taking a pause between the food actually coming in and then the consumption of. So what this thing actually does is it leads to the production of saliva in the mouth, right? So sometimes when you are very hungry, you see that there is food in front of you, and for some reason or the other, you are unable to consume, right? So suppose you go to a restaurant, you are very hungry. Everybody around you, they are getting their orders, and you have just placed the order, right? So you are constantly, waiting for the food to come. And during this entire time, you will see the amount of saliva that is produced in your mouth that increases greatly because now you can smell the food, right? But you cannot consume it. Yeah. So in that same way, in a lot of traditions, when the concept of mantras or saying grace was introduced, then one of the reasons why this is done is because of this thing, this scientific thing, that when the food comes in front of you, you see it, you smell it, and then you give a break, you allow your body to produce the saliva, and then you begin to consume that. So the time for which you are saying the grace, the mantra, the production of saliva that begins to happen in the body. So it places again, right? Another reason why saying grace or a mantra before you eat is necessary is because it changes the state of your mind. When I am chanting a mantra, right? So when you guys chant the mantra in the beginning of the class, at the end of the class, it shifts the state of your mind. If earlier you were in full chaos, right? Something very bad is happening, very stressful is happening. But you come to the class, you sit in the class, and you chant Om in the beginning of the class. So it immediately shifts the state of your mind. It shifts your focus. Okay. You can go ahead and chant any mantra. In Indian tradition, like I will tell you that after this, I'm giving more reasoning, right? So maybe this doubt will be clarified, right? So there was a yeah. When you chant the mantra, if your mind has been in a very stressful state, then before you begin to eat your food, your mind should be in a calm state. Okay? Whenever you, especially when you consume, right, your mind should not be running in all directions. You should generally be very calm and composed when you are eating the food. And today, in today's world, what is happening? People chit chat during food. People are stressed and then they go and eat food. Stress eating is a very big common problem these days, right? So out of that state of mind, the consumption of food takes, right? Which is not the correct. When you eat the food, your mind should be calm. So when you chant a mantra, when you say grace, it leads to the disconnection from this state of mind, and it puts you in the ideal state of mind in which you should consume your food, right? Now, is there an ideal mantra or is there some specific practice? So, of course, we have a mantra for everything. So, if you want to go ahead and look out for it, there are some prayers out there that you can say before you eat your food. However, any kind of prayer will do you good, right? So, there is no restriction because some people they are very big devotees of a particular god, right? So they like to chant that mantra before they eat. Because again, in Indian tradition, when we eat, before that we share a portion of what we are about to eat with the God, right? In Hindi, we call it bhog lagana, right? So whatever you are eating, before you consume it, you pray and you offer a portion of that food to the God that you believe, right? So depending on that in India, different believers they chant different mantras, right? For before consuming their food because they are sharing a portion of their meal with a specific god or a particular god, depending on what kind of devotion they have, right? So they chant the mantra of that god. Okay, even saying grace or praying, going for any kind of prayer, like in Christianity, there are so many prayers that are present. In Buddhism, also, there are different forms of chanting. So, this question will also depend on what kind of chanting you are. Are you doing a chanting of Sanskrit mantra? Are you doing a Buddhist kind of chanting? Are you doing some prayer, right? So, depending on different traditions, there would be different prayers that are like said uh, before you consume your food, right? So you have to look for the tradition. So whichever tradition you are a part of, and then you can go ahead and research on which specific prayer is going to be the most beneficial before you consume your food, right? All right. Uh, does that answer your question?
I was told that there is a mantra that you share your food with people with no food. I forgot what is the mantra.
Sorry, can you repeat?
Oh, sorry, I was told that before you eat your food on the table, you can share your food with people that has no food. Like there's a mantra for it, but I forgot what it is.
Mantra for sharing the food.
Yeah, for people who have no food, like you pray for the people who have no food, so that you make your food divine or something like that.
Okay, I'll have to look into this specific one. If I'm able to find it, I will share it with you in the next class. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But there are multiple prayers, so you don't have to restrict yourself to just one. You can choose the one you like the most. If you are liking this intention a lot, where before you eat, you pray for somebody who doesn't have food, then that prayer is also good. I will try to look for it. I am currently not aware, but I will try to look for it, and if I find it, I will definitely share it in the upcoming classes. Yeah. So another very important reason for chanting mantra is actually the kind of energy that is created when you chant a mantra, right? So if you have been into mantra chanting, you have done that chanting for some amount of time in your life, you understand that when you do the chanting, there's some kind of uh, aura or energy that you create, right? So the sometimes we don't cook our food, but the food that is cooked again it captures the energy of who is cooking it. So suppose somebody is angry when they are cooking the food, so immediately you will sense the anger. Or sometimes you eat some food and for no reason you feel agitated, right? The food was good, There were no spices also. Everything was, it was sattvic food, you can say. Sattvic is the best form of food that you can consume, right? So, but still you feel agitated, irritated, and you cannot put your finger on it, why this is happening. So it's because the food is constantly capturing the energy of the place where it is cooked and who is cooking, right? So both the factors play a very major role, and everything around you absorbs the energy, right, of you, your state of mind, right? So if you don't have any control over the food, you are not cooking the food. Basically, you don't have control over who is cooking the food. Then saying a prayer or a mantra before you eat your food, it acts as a very, very good way of changing the overall uh, energy of the food. So suppose somebody cooked the food out of anger, right? Now you cannot control this thing. You don't know where your food is coming from. Sometimes you order food or whatever, right? So before you begin to eat your food, you can do some chanting so that all the aspects that the food is exposed to, you are kind of nullifying those, or you are adding your own intention as well when before you consume that, right? And water, food, especially water, it captures energy very, very quickly, right? So you can do this experiment. You can keep two bottles, okay, in your home, and one bottle you can go and you can say a lot of positive affirmations to that bottle, right? And then the other bottle you can go and highly criticize that water bottle, right? For a few days you can try this experiment. So you will actually see that the water towards which you showed a lot of criticism, that water will start becoming stale, right? And the water towards which you have been quite appreciative overall, that water will remain all right. Okay. So water specifically captures a lot of energy, right? So be very mindful when, even when you are drinking your water, what kind of state of mind you are in when you are consuming the water. And if you feel you want to add some kind of intention, then you can maybe even say that intention out loud before you drink your water, right? So these are some ways that I'm telling you that if you feel they are logical, they are reasonable, you want to practice them, you can go ahead and do these things. All of these things are up to your choice. You can experiment. There is no force in these things. I'm just sharing certain things that I myself have also observed, right? Overall. Yeah. So mantra chanting also acts as a way of energizing the food. You will see the, kind of in India, when we go to temples, we offer God something sweet, right? So, and that is actually called prasad, right? So when we go to a particular temple and we get this prasad home, so everybody consumes that little bit of that because it is considered very good. Yeah, because that food, it has acquired the energy of that area, right, of the temple. So in that same way, whatever you consume, it's constantly, capturing that energy. So if you say a mantra, again you are cleansing, or you are just making sure that the food you consume, it doesn't do any harm to your body. Okay. Now, the intention with which you cook your food, that is also very, very important. If you are the person cooking your own food, then it is very important again to calm down your mind, right? When you eat, you have to, when you cook, you have to calm down your mind. If you become absent-minded when you are cooking, first thing you will cause injury to yourself, right? So you would have heard of lots of instances where, people cut their hand, sorry, finger, right? They cause a cut on their finger while they are chopping something, or they burn their hand accidentally, right, when they are cooking. This is because of absent-mindedness, right? So before you go to consume your food, just close your eyes, observe your breathing for a while, and then go ahead and cook your food, right? Again, the state of your mind, it will become quite relaxed. It will help you to cook the food with much more intention, right? And the way in which you cook, again, it's going to have the same kind of nutritive value on your body as well. If you cook with a lot of love, right, it's going to have very positive and beautiful impact on your body. So when somebody who loves you, like when I go back home, uh, my parents, they cook for me, right? That food is tasted to another level, right? I cannot even explain that. No matter where I go in the world, that kind of food I will never get, because my parents, they add so much love in that food, right? And that is the only ingredient which makes the food very tasty for me, right? So if you love someone, and or someone loves you, and when they cook for you, right, you find that food to be very, very tasty. So why is this happening? Not because they found some beautiful recipe or they mastered some kind of recipe, right? They would have, they might have, I'm not questioning that. But they also add their intention and their love in the food they serve, right? And that immensely changes the taste of the food that you are consuming. That is why people who, mostly you will see who order in, they don't feel like even giving time to eating food. Why? Because the uh, kind of environment that food is being exposed to, maybe it was prepared 2 5 days back, right? And the way in which this stressful industry is working, where fast deliveries are taking place, people are quite stressed when they deliver the food, right? So all of this thing is being added along the way in that, right? So when you consume that food, again, you capture that thing. So now you feel stressed, now you feel that way. And then this cycle, it goes on, right? So you will see those people, they don't even feel like investing time into eating their food or enjoying their food, because of this entire cycle, which is subconsciously taking place. So today I have shared some tricks which you can incorporate when you are eating your food. The remaining we are going to discuss on Monday. So I will cover sattvic food also. I know I have to cover that thing. So on Monday I will cover sattvic food, and if you are able to join that class. If you are unable to join, you can watch the the recorded version on YouTube as well. I will cover the topic properly. Any doubts in today's session? Whatever I have discussed, any doubts in that? No doubts? Oh, all right. So let's close our session for today. Sit comfortably. Keep the back and neck straight, and very gently close your eyes. Start observing your breath. We'll chant Om 1 time, followed by 3 Shantis. Take a deep inhalation for Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Feel the vibrations. Join your palms together, gently bow down. We will just start our day with a sense of gratitude. Begin to rub your palms together. Keep the palms on the eyes. Very slowly, while blinking and looking at your palms, begin to open up your eyes and come. Enjoy your weekend. I will see you on, today I will see you again for pranayam, and then I will see you on Monday. So take care and bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.